Swan and Stone, Volume 3, Issue 2, January 2020. Narrated by Susanna Sanfilippo. Hello all. I apologize for the long hiatus regarding Swan and Stone articles. Part of what has been going on is a major evolution of coherence websites, and with it, article archives. With this change, to the best we can, we've parsed my writing about coherent breathing versus my writing about esoterica. Henceforth, the periodical Coherent Breathing will be limited to articles about coherent breathing proper and can be found at coherentbreathing.com. Articles about esoterica will be published under the Swan and Stone imprint and can be found at chiarts.net. That being said, sometimes subject matter crisscrosses out of necessity, this being because breathing is fundamental to both matters. This article, Enlightenment in Kashmiri Shaivism, was originally published in February 2014 under the imprint Alternatives, which we no longer use. In January 2020, we now republish a slightly edited version under the imprint Swan and Stone, which you can always find at chiarts.net. For me, Kashmiri Shaivism offers a purest and most essential notion of enlightenment, one that I find particularly accessible. I hope you will too. In Kashmiri Shaivism, enlightenment is simply clear and present consciousness that we are fully unified with the world, with each other, with the universe, all else, animate and inanimate. The opposite of unity is dualism. It refers to the understanding and experiencing that we are separate from all else. In this case, there is I, and there is everything else. In KS, dualism is considered delusional and the fundamental root cause of humanity's ignorance and suffering. Certainly, this ignorance plays a key part in man's destruction of man and the planet. What I find so wonderful about this definition is that it blows away the smoke and fog around what enlightenment is, at least in the Shaivist context. In Shaivist parlance, enlightenment is knowing, experiencing, and living unity. This essential idea of unity is at the root of many Eastern spiritual traditions, and although largely obscured, underlies most Western religions. To my way of looking at it, Kashmiri Shaivism has remained a spiritual tradition and has not morphed into a religion, i.e., the business of spirituality, in this way remaining relatively pure. The important thing to note is that this unity isn't a notion. It is a real and present experience that all of us can have. Is humankind Earth's only life form that suffers from its absence? Simply, Kashmiri Shaivism concerns itself with realizing unity. Yes, it has a conceptual, intellectual framework, but the core of it is real, experiential. It can be one's reality. The Shaivist pursuit involves making it one's reality. It does so through yogic method, including asana, pranayama, and dhyana. No surprise here. After all, this is the very point of yoga. The beauty of Kashmiri Shaivism is that it makes this so crystal clear. The essential Shaivist text is the Siva Sutras, thought to have been discovered or revealed circa the 8th century in Kashmir via Vasugupta. In Singh's Siva Sutras, the Yoga of Supreme Identity, he offers that there are several accounts of how the sutras came to be revealed, but all accounts share the principles that they were revealed to Vasugupta and that they have no human author. Whether one accepts this as true or not makes no difference in the outcome if practiced. Kashmir is situated in northern India, high in the Himalayas, and shares its northern border with Tibet. Kashmir was an important seat of Buddhism in the 4th century and is thought to have been the gateway via which Buddhism made its way into Tibet and China. Based on similarity of philosophy and method, I believe China's Taoism moved in the other direction and ultimately influenced the development of Shaivist thought, Taoist and Shaivist principles being very similar. In fact, the fundamental method by which one realizes unity is essentially the same, involving posture, breathing, relaxation, and mental focus on the center, the source, i.e., the navel, Manipura. We have documented the Taoist method in some detail in Wuji Qigong and the Secret of Immortality, which, if practiced, cultivates prana, qi, and facilitates dissolution. From Siva Sutras, Anavapaya number 22. When the prana of the yogi who is united with the transcendental consciousness spreads outside, including external objects, he experiences everything as identical as Chitananda, Shiva consciousness. This is the quintessential experience of unity, an experience that grows with practice. In Kashmiri Shaivism, it becomes an essential objective of being, i.e., perpetual dissolution, and with it, perpetual unity. When the prana is cultivated and becomes full and robust, and the body dissolves, the prana spreads out. And when it does, our body boundary disappears and we perceive everything as an ocean of prana. The sense of I, as something separate from everything else, disappears. From Shiva Sutras, Anavapaya number 4. One should meditate on the dissolution of all the tattvas successfully in their preceding source, right up to Shiva, i.e., of the gross body into the subtle, and the subtle into the causal, and thus realize the highest tattva, Shiva. This dissolving is a very ancient spiritual concept. The Samkhayan model of manifestation, circa 3500 BCE, describes the process by which matter and consciousness precipitate from the absolute, the heavier from the lighter and the gross from the subtle. Samkhaya's yogic process describes the reverse, where the heavy is resorbed by the light and the gross is resorbed by the subtle. This concept is philosophical, and we need not dwell on it to reap the rewards of practice. Thank you for your interest and consideration. Stephen Elliott, author and publisher of Swan and Stone. Subscribe to Swan and Stone. It's free.